Hey, it's Tiffany Boone, and you're tuning into Black Girls in Media Conversation Series.
We have the wonderful, the talented Tiffany Boone. She's an actress, model, activist. What does she not do? Come on. And you've seen her on Hunters and Little Fires Everywhere and so much more. We're going to dive into that just now. So before we start, Tiffany, we got to go with our segment called I'm Black and I'm Proud, okay? So it's just an easy fill in the blank. Tiffany, it goes, I'm Black and proud of. Tiffany, what are you Black and proud of?
I am Black and proud of today. I am proud of that I lived in the same lifetime as Sidney Poitier, who passed today and has opened the door for so many of us, and was such a trailblazer and just an icon. So I am Black and proud to have been on this earth at the same time as Sidney Poitier.
Rest in peace to that soul. Thank you for that. Yes. Black and I'm proud. So let's just jump into this interview. So you're a brand ambassador for Lafayette 148. Congrats on that. Congrats.
Thank you.
No problem. And I bring that up because Lafayette 148 did an interview on you not too long ago. And the first question they asked you was, how do clothes mold you? And your answer was, clothes help me turn into a different person, much like how I pick my characters. I like to play a character I've never seen before. Love it. So what I'm going to do next is tell them, Tiffany, do not box you in. Okay, do not box you in. And I say that because your portfolio is amazing. And any character that you play, you bring them to life, honey. You bring them to life. And so we know what, let's talk about it. You mentioned your first break into the acting industry was your TV series called The Following. And The Following was a thriller television series where you played Mandy Lang. And Mandy Lang ended up killing her mother in the show. And I'm not going to tell y'all no more. If you haven't seen it, make sure y'all go check that out. Okay? Now, let's get into Hunters. Hunters is renewed for a season 2. Congrats on that, too. My girl is working.
Thank you.
No problem. And let's jump into the Hunters. Tiffany, you're playing a character called Roxy Jones, a counterfeiter, a forger, and a crime scene cleaner, and a Black activist. We got to add that. What I love about Roxy is she is the biggest badass, and I heard you say it too. Biggest badass, okay? And you said that Roxy was a character you never really seen, and I definitely do see that. But what I want to bring up is the fact that we talking about you played two very different characters right then and there that I bring up. Mandy and Roxy, two very different. So definitely put some respect on my girl's name because that portfolio is amazing. But I want to dive into Little Fires Everywhere, produced by Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon. So Tiffany, please talk about your experience working with Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon on your drama series, Little Fires Everywhere. But also, please tell us how you prepared for your role in Little Fires Everywhere. Everyone needs to hear this.
Yeah, so Reese, thank you for all of that, by the way, before that. But Reese and Carrie were really wonderful to work with because they were producers on Little Fires Everywhere. And, I didn't get to work with Reese as much because, I was in a flashback and there was no need for me to, really work with her. But the times I was around her, she was lovely enough to invite me to her house, with the rest of the cast, even though I really was only doing one episode. And she was so sweet from the beginning, but it was so inspiring to watch these two women run the show, and they really had the show, run by all women. There's a bunch of producers and camera operators and directors. They really wanted it to be female forward, and they, just to see where they are in their careers and just see the kind of set that they created, a really safe space, and where things were done efficiently, and it just was a great place to be. And so it's really inspiring for me because I do want to get into producing to watch, you know, what they have been doing in the producing space. And for my process for creating the character, I mean, I'm doing flashbacks of Carrie's character, and they were very clear that they wanted the flashbacks to be very closely connected to what you see in the current day. A lot of times you see flashbacks in shows and stuff, you're like, okay, like, I guess that could be the same person or not, whatever, but you just go along with it because you know, you're suspending your disbelief. But they wanted the audience to feel like they really were watching a younger version of those people. So I am lucky enough that like Carrie was open with me and told me about her process and how she was working on building the character. And then I just shadowed her for, at this point I don't remember how long, maybe 2 weeks. I would come to set and watch her on set and just take notes after notes after notes, and then go home and go through my script and say all of the lines and do the hand motions and all that, because Carrie is so specific and the way she created this character is so specific. So I just spent hours upon hours trying to like get into her brain and get into the movements and all of that. So it was really, really fun.
Hey guys, and what I want to mention about that is that you put in more work after you got the job. Come on. That's how you do it.
A lot more work. Yeah, when I auditioned for it, I think I was working on Hunters, and I really didn't have a lot of time, and I literally was just like, okay, like, hurry up, all right, let me hurry up and do this audition. So I learned it super quick, and it was after I got the job that I was like, oh, they're serious. Oh, I gotta put in a lot of work for this so I won't get fired. And so that's when, for me, the real work starts after I audition once I get the job.
All right, and you guys, I don't want you to miss out how detailed she got. You got detailed. But you said, I watched Carrie on set. I watched the scene. I watched a scene, take notes about her hand movements, her reactions, the way she listened, the way she moved her eyes. Like, you were really studying this character. So you definitely, someone just said you embodied that, and you did that, okay? And I was like, listen, how you worked hard, but then worked harder to make sure you had to get the job done. And right there, that's preparation. Yes. And what I do want to mention is, someone asked you, how did you get past your nerves working with Kerry Washington? And this is what I loved. Your answer, being prepared. Come on, Queen.
I said that? I remember.
Yes. Come on, Queen. I was like, yes. And then when I heard what you did, I was like, oh, yeah, she definitely did that. Come on. Now, I do want to make mention before we, get off the conversation about Little Fires Everywhere, that you did bring up when you talked to Kerry Washington about this part. She said, you're not doing my character, it's our character. And that spoke volumes to me. And I know it spoke volumes to you as well. But what I love about that is to see Black women uplifting Black women and trusting them with their vision to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just her vision, it was everyone's vision, and then your vision to make it happen. So that is awesome. And that's what we promote on this platform, is really Black women making sure we support each other and trust each other with visions, because you have to do that. You got to do that. So yes, congratulations on that. And again, like I said, at this point, we know not to box what? Tiffany in. Okay? So let's get to our next topic. Now, some actors and actresses play only one type of role, which I feel sometimes hinders their acting career, because most people only see them in that one type of role. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you agree? And also, I noticed you play different characters, and you, like you said, when you chose your outfits, you wanted to play someone you never seen before or never did before. So do you do this to promote and make a diverse acting portfolio so that you're more marketable?
Okay, so the first thing, do I think it about other actors if they play the same role? Do I think it stifles their? Or what was the exact wording?
Yes. Do you think it
hinders their
hinders
career?
Yeah.
Right. I don't necessarily think that. I think that some people, that's what they want, right? I'm not going to name any names, but there's some actors that we know that are huge off of playing the same character over and over again, or playing things the same way over and over again. And I'm not going to knock anybody else for that, because there's a lot of huge stars that are very successful, have awards and all the money and all the fame or whatever. It's all about what your intention is, right? And so for me, when I pick roles, my intention has never been and is not to be famous. So it's not, I don't make really decisions based on marketing. I make decisions based on how I connect with the character. I make decisions based on what I want to do. Like, am I going to be having fun on set? Am I going to feel challenged? Like, so that doesn't really matter to me, honestly, like what's marketable. It's more like what is going to be artistically fulfilling.
I love that. And you can see that in your work though. So I do love that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, that's great. I like that. Okay, so now let me ask you. In acting, I'm pretty sure that you won't get every role you audition for, because that means we'll live in a perfect place, right? And we don't live in a perfect place. We're human. So with that being said, has there been a role that you auditioned for that you felt you were perfect for, but you didn't get it? What was that role, and how have you learned to not let any no define your journey?
Yeah, I honestly can't think of any role that I've been like, even roles that I've gotten that I go, oh, I'm perfect for this. Like, that's not the way I think about it, because honestly, the way I think about it is like, what is for me will be for me. And the only way I'll know if it's perfect for me is if I get it and do it. And, and then it's great. It might be perfect. Like, the chance is very good that it could be perfect for someone else. I can read it and be like, oh, I think I can do this thing. But that still doesn't mean that I'm perfect for it, because the universe might not have that in mind for me. So I really can't think of an example where I was like, oh, I'm perfect for this and I didn't get it, because that's just not how I like attack things, I guess. And how do I get used to, like, for me, getting used to the no's is really just like a process of like doing it over and over again. At this point, I don't get attached to the outcome of anything. Like, you know, I don't even know that I think of things as a no anymore, if I'm honest. When I'm like auditioning or talking to producers or directors or whatever about something, we're both deciding this. That's how I look at it. Like, we're both figuring this out, because I can say no just like they can say no. You know what I mean? Things have come across to me that I've been like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. And so I just I don't get attached to anything anymore. And so nobody has that level of power over me, hiring me. Like, it just, they don't have that level of power over me or my journey or my life. So if it's a no, it's like, oh, okay, it's gonna be the next thing, and I keep it moving, because it's not the end. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a journey. So just because there's one thing I'm not doing, there will be something else.
I love that. And a lot of people in here are saying that they love your perspective of how you're saying, you know, not one role will be perfect. It's just, it's going to happen if it does happen. So that's amazing. And like you said, taking your power. We have the power. It's us. And you knowing that and being able to put that here so people can take that in and receive it. That is awesome. Yes, we got gems on gems. People are already throwing the diamond sign, gems. Now, you did say that you didn't feel like a role would be perfect for you. So let me ask you this. Is there any role that you were like, man, like, I feel like I could have played that role? Has there been any role where you're like, man, that would have been a great opportunity?
I mean, sure, there's things that the weird thing is, most of the time, if I like something and I don't get it, once I watch it later, I go, oh, yeah, I didn't need to do that. And that's true. Like, most of the time, I'm like, oh, like, for whatever reason, I will watch it and I'm like, yeah, I didn't need to be a part of that cast. I didn't need to work with that person. I didn't need to be at that place. I didn't, whatever, or like, it didn't turn out as well as I thought it would. It's just not how it's worked out for me. So like, I don't know, I guess I'm lucky in that way. There's nothing that I'm like, oh no, I would have been perfect, I should have done that. That's not how I feel. It truly isn't.
I love that, Tiffany. That is so awesome. Like, no matter what way we angle this, you're like, listen, if it's for me, it's for me. If it got my name on it, it's there. It's still the deal. And that's how you have to look at it, because you will cause yourself so much more stress, or just like making yourself feel bad for something that wasn't even yours in the first place. What are we doing here?
Yeah. 100%.
I love it. I'm receiving. I'm taking that in and receiving that too. Okay. So now let's talk about this. Now, we already talked about no's, but I want to bring up that no's are not roadblocks. They're detours for success. So definitely keep going. I want to bring up, you decided to quit acting for a year. And this story gave me so much strength when I really dissected and really understood what took place. So I definitely want to share. So on Women of Impact, you talked about how, you know, taking the nose and having the point where at the end of the day, when there's a lot of rejection, you were like, it got to the point where it was a lot. Like, it was like every, you know, when you first start acting, when you were saying, you were like, when I first started acting, it was like I was going on an audition, and then you're just waiting for a yes. Like, oh my gosh, are they going to like me? Then it got to the point where, you know, you took your nose in auto drive, where you're like, okay, they said no. All right, I'm just going to keep going. They said no. To a point you said, hey, after a few years of hearing so many no's, it got daunting. It got to the point where it got too much. And at that point, you did bring up hearing no so often can really break down your spirit and start to make you think, what's wrong with me? You know, and that's a human thing. And in this case, you said it got to the point where you did start to have anxiety attacks, right? But you made a choice, and you made a choice for your mental health. And I love that. And you brought up the point that eventually you decided to quit acting for a year, and you then opened up your own floral business. And with opening your own floral business, you found your passion again with acting. So I want to ask you this. My question to you is, please talk about how important it was for you to quit acting for a year, and how taking that time and opening your own floral business was a blessing to get you right back on track with your passion.
Yeah, I feel like it was important for me to stop because I mean, I've been acting. I did my first play when I was 8, and I think I've seen some people on here who went to high school with me. I think I saw Jonathan on here. I went to like performing arts high school. Before that, our high school has like a middle school program. I had done that. I got my degree in acting, and so it was always just like I was so focused on acting as my only option. Like I never saw anything else as an option. And it was, I mean, when I get laser focused, I get very laser focused. And so once I started getting those no's, and that's all my worth was really to me, was acting. It's like you're saying I'm worthless. Like, you know, I'm getting no after no after no. Like, am I worthless, right? And so I had to stop and really be like, wait, is this really what I want? Like, do I really want acting, or have I just made a decision, just kept going with it? Because I can do that. I decide I'm your friend, we gonna stay friends. I decide we date forever. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just keep on until then you have to step back and be like, wait, is that actually what you want? Like, or are you just going with some plan that you made for yourself? And so by stopping acting and starting to do the floor arrangements, I was able to be like, okay, this isn't the only talent that I have. This isn't the only thing that I can do. I have other options. I have other things that I'm great at. And what doing the flowers did for me was being like, oh, what I actually love, what is actually my purpose, is to connect with people, to touch people, to make people smile, to make people cry. Because when I would make my floral arrangements, people would cry, or they'd send me notes and be like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, because I made every flower arrangement specific for the person who was getting the flowers. I never made the same floral arrangement twice. And I just made a connection with the person, even without meeting them. I would want to know things about them and everything like that, so I could make the perfect arrangement for them. And that's a lot like acting. Like, I love connecting with people, whether it be my scene partner or the viewer. You know what I mean? Like, when people come up to me and like, oh my gosh, I was so moved by this thing you did, or I really saw myself in this. That's the connection. Or, you know, when people have met me and cried and all of that, that's the same kind, that's just at the root of it, that's the same thing, right? And so when I was able to find that through the flowers, then I could go back to being an actor and realizing that all this other crap that comes along with the job means nothing. What I'm trying to do is connect with people. So when I do an audition, all I'm trying to do is connect with the person who's going to see this audition. And whatever comes after that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's none of my business. But that is what my goal is. And so I let go of the desperation of having to get the job, because it was all, I was becoming so desperate to get the job. Like, I'm going to die if I don't get this job. And when I really focused on my purpose, and I was like, there's nothing to be desperate about, girl. One way or another, you're going to connect with someone. And
Yeah.
then when I released that, it's like the universe was like, okay, here it is. Here we go. Now that you understand your true purpose and what you really want, then we'll start giving you some of the things, we'll start giving you some of the roles, we'll start giving you some, we'll start giving you some of the opportunities, because now you can handle them. Because now you actually know why you deserve them.
Yes, I love that. And it's so funny. It's something that you think like, I'm taking a break from something all that I know, but how like you said, each flower arrangement, you didn't do the same. And it was that connection. So come on, connect the dots. Connect the dots. Okay. Yes. But what I do want to mention about this story too as well, because this is where I found the strength. You said when I returned to acting, I wasn't desperate anymore, which you did say. And you said I was going into the room to share my gift. I had the power because I didn't need the yes or the no. I walked into the room without the job. I am not losing anything. I'm only gaining something. And now you tell young actors, stop needing it. Stop being desperate for it. Enjoy it. Come on, word. Listen, and even if you're not an actor, an actress, or even in the industry of entertainment, you can take that for your own piece of life. When I tell you, when I heard that, I was like, man, you're helping me solve some mysteries here, baby. Like I love that, because sometimes you can get so desperate because you're like, yo, I want it. It's not that you're like trying to be desperate, but you're like, yo, I want this that bad. So for you to be able to take that break and still get everything that got your name on it, come on. When it got your name on it, it ain't, that's it. And you proved that by you're a living witness of that. Keep moving in that. I love it. I love it. So what I do want to let people know, take a break if it's needed, because you're worthy of it. Come on. So next, we're going to get into our game segment. And Tiffany, our game segment is, you have all the money, you have all the time, and you get to pick your team. So what would be an ideal project you would want to build from start to finish? And also, what celebrities would you would love to bring on board to make your ideal project come to life? Now, I do want to mention, I did my research, and one of your ideal jobs is to be an art therapist. So I'm not going to say that has to be that, but you can make up whatever you want. But also, you do want to do producing too. So I'm going to just let you have a stab at this, and I'm ready to hear.
Okay, I'm glad you said the art therapy thing, because I was thinking like at first about it had to be like a TV show or film or something. I'm like, oh, that's too hard for me to try to figure out who I want to be a part of that. I don't know. Okay, let's say I, hopefully make my dream come true of having a school where arts therapy is used to heal trauma for children. And it's celebrities that I would want to come through. Okay, Regina Hall.
That's a good one. Yes.
100%, because that woman is the funniest woman I've ever met. She has such a bright spirit. She's great with kids. And yeah, she's amazing. Who else? Oh, this is hard. Oh, put on the spot. Celebrities. I'm just thinking like friends and stuff, so that's probably not good. People that I actually know and work with. I mean, Carrie would be incredible. She's so inspirational. Viola Davis.
I was going to say that. It's your favorite actor.
Yeah, Viola Davis. For my own selfish reasons, I would want Jeffrey Wright to come. I've never met him. I have no idea how he is as a person or anything like that. But he is such a bomb actor, so I would want him to come in and I could take a lesson too. Why not? I mean, I would want all kinds of arts therapy, so like Quincy Jones to come in to like teach kids, because he is a master, and I think he really, has the wisdom of how arts like heal, because that's my whole thing about like arts is a healing tool, and it seems to be.
Now let me ask you this. For people that may not know how arts heal, could you give us an example of like how the arts can heal? Because you did talk about that a lot wow, being in Baltimore, being from Baltimore, Maryland, and how being in acting and all this, and how it actually helps you heal through certain different things. So how can the arts heal? Help throw that in there with us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say about my own personal experience. I mean, I've been very open. My father was murdered when I was 3. My mom raised me by herself. And I was in dance and singing and acting since I was little. And my mother, really because I wanted to be a part of it, she made sure I stayed in it. But looking back over the years, it's like I just realized that I was able to lose myself in my acting and things that I couldn't express verbally because I didn't have the vocabulary as a child because I couldn't understand. Then I was able to like lose myself in other people's worlds and have their emotions and be like, oh, I feel that way too. I feel that pain, or I feel that joy, I feel all of that, and being able to just have an outlet to get some of that stuff out. And so you're really able to like, really work on that stuff in therapy as an adult or process that stuff like in a real way. It really does like make such a difference. And I've seen so many kids, again, being from Baltimore, like going to Baltimore School for the Arts, there's kids from every walk of life there. Every walk of life. This is a school in the city of Baltimore City. So I've seen kids like whole lives change, you know what I mean? Like, and so I really believe that it touches you and gives you an outlet and allows you to connect to parts of you that can feel stifled as a child and feel like you don't know what to do with it. I think it helps you to let it out.
I love that. And I love that you brought up the fact that I feel that feeling too. So even if you didn't know the feeling, you're learning that and you're able to connect that. So I do love that. That is awesome. And you will be able to do that. We're going to already claim it and receive it, okay?
Thank you.
No problem. So next question. Many people want to become famous and you're already famously known for your craft. So honestly, is the fame and fortune everything you expected? And what are the pros and cons of fulfilling your dream of becoming an actress?
Yeah, well, I do not consider myself to be famous. I can't say with the fame and fortune, like I'm comfortable. I have a lovely roof over my head. I got food. Like I am very comfortable, so I am fortunate. I can't speak to what real fame is like. Like I've been around real famous people. Real famous people. I've been lucky enough to work with some of them people that you're like, oh, like that's famous. Like, and that's a whole different ball game that I don't think I even want. Like I said, I never got into acting because I wanted to be famous. I think people hype that kind of stuff up way too much because there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of nastiness that can come with that, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. But I am very fortunate, and what I wanted was to be a working actress. And so I am a working actress, and I feel incredibly fortunate about that. And because there was a time where I didn't have no money, and I was struggling and trying to make this happen. So the fact that I feel comfortable is great. And at the same time, I think people look at actors' journeys like this or anybody's journey like this, and that's not how most people's lives are. Like, as an actor, it's like this, And so I try to make sure I stay grounded and humble and, focused on what my actual purpose is because I can stop working tomorrow. Like, that's, That's just the truth of it. There's no security in this job. So I would say that's one of the cons of it. Yes, I am a working actor. Yes, I have a beautiful life. But there's still no security here. You know what I mean? Like I still, I wrap up my job and I'm still like, so where's the next one at? So, you know what I mean? I still got to pay these bills. But the pros of it are that, like what I said, is that I get to connect with people. I get to see so mmany beautiful places and travel. I get to do things like this, like meet people like you and connect with people. And yeah, so it's a beautiful thing, but it's not, I just can't speak to the fame and the fortune because girl, that's some other mess that I would not consider myself to have.
Yo, Tiffany, one thing I can say about you and what I do love about you, man, is that you're just so well, like you're humble, you're grounded, like like that is so awesome to see. Like you said, a working actress. Like I love that. Like you're like, listen, I'm out here making my money and I'm just happy that I'm able to do what I love. And that's awesome to hear, to be able to see the things that you're already doing. Like you already done some big things and it's already bigger things in 2020, okay? I mean 2020, Lord. 2020, girl. I done took a day. No. But I want to say, like, you are definitely an inspiration, man. Like, you are doing it, and it's cool to see that, like, you could get the things that you want and still be humble, girl. I'm loving it on you. You doing it. So now, what are 3 words you would use to best describe yourself? And also, through all of your experiences you encountered within your life thus far, what advice would you give your younger self?
Yeah, 3 words to describe myself. Loyal, loving, and creative.
Ooh, I like.
I'm like the people in the group chat, that know me. They're probably like, I got some other words for you, but okay. I will start typing them in here. I think those are 3 words. In my younger self, I would say like, stop being so hard on yourself. It's something I have to tell myself every day, every single day. But for sure, you know, my younger self, and younger could be a year ago, younger could have been 2 months ago, younger could be, you know what I mean? Like stop being so hard on yourself. Enjoy the ride. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Just enjoy the ride. What are you rushing to? What are you trying to get to? I mean, you know, it's not going anywhere. Just enjoy yourself. Like, I think back to like my 20s, and I'm like, there's times I was stressed about stuff. Like, girl, what were you stressed about? Like, you could have been out like having a ball, and you were just like keeping yourself in, trying to be perfect and trying to fit in this box. And it's what good did that do? It didn't do anything for you. So have a good time, and you know, give yourself some grace and some mercy.
Enjoy the process, someone said. Yes. And you know, it's so funny. I think that that's a good token for everyone to take from this, because that's something that I had to learn, enjoying the process. Like I said, I'm hard on myself and I'm like this wasn't right, this has to, nothing's going to be perfect. So I love that. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. Don't be hard on yourself, and what you say, give yourself grace. Yes. We're human. I don't know what, listen, we're human.
Yes.
So I'm going to get to my last question, and I wanted to talk about thriving, not just surviving. So you spoke for the wide angles youth graduation commencement, and you had a beautiful speech, man. And I listened to the whole thing. Okay, I was over here taking notes. I was like, I'm taking this, and I need this for me. Woo! But in that speech, you talk about growth in your family dynamic. And you talk about how your mom worked 2 jobs and how she had to, you know, she wasn't able to really get to see what her passion or what she really wanted to do in life, because she wanted to make sure you had a great life. And she became a single parent at 22 because your father passed when you were only 3 years old. Rest in peace to that king. But I want to say surviving, right? Because in that speech, you talked about the difference between surviving and thriving. And I want to read a little bit of that speech so people can hear how important what your message was to these kids, and what they can take from it. So you stated, as I age and get bigger, I leave my mother's back, and she teaches me to swim with great difficulty at first, but eventually I am a swimmer. I'm no longer just swimming to keep my head above water. I'm now enjoying the journey, taking time to float on my back and watch the birds, sometimes going under to look at the fish, and the waves still get choppy, and sometimes I still have to fight. But I'm no longer only swimming to survive. I am thriving. Man, that spoke to my soul. I was like, whoa, come on. Did you write that?
Yes, I wrote that.
Put a writer. We need to throw writer in there. We should have put a writer on there. Okay, yes. But my question for you is definitely well spoken. Could you please share with our viewers the difference between surviving and thriving through your lens and your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of that, like I said about, growing up, I feel like around me, I saw a lot of surviving, right? Which is like, keep your head down, work hard, wake up, go to work, come back home, cook dinner, go to sleep, do the same thing over and over again. Just going day to day, just to, wake up and do the same thing over and over again, right? And my mother didn't really have a choice in that, right? She's put in this situation and she has to provide for her child, and you know what I mean? She's like, you are my dream. You are it for me. And I wanted to make sure that like that wasn't wasted, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, even what we're talking about earlier about the desperation around auditioning, that's just surviving. The way I was living then was just surviving. That's, just everything has to be so hard. And like, I think too much emphasis is put on hard work in our society. We live in a capitalist society, right? And so much emphasis is like, no days off, hard work, blah, 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 all of that. And it's like, well, what are you working for? What are you working for, honestly? Because you're going to work your whole life and then die, and then what? And then what? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, getting to thriving was in the things I already talked about. Finding my purpose, my true purpose. Connecting with other people. Giving myself and others grace.
Yes.
And sometimes your situation is your situation, and you do have to wake up every day and go to this job that you don't like and you can't stand, and go home and cook dinner and go to bed. But how do you find the moments of joy in that? How do you, when you're at that job, how do you connect with someone and have a conversation with someone and make them smile and learn something about them that you can take back, and you'll be in bed like, oh, okay, that was a good day. Like, I laughed, I felt joy. What can you read? What can you write? Where can you go? It doesn't take money. It doesn't take money to do these things. Pouring back into yourself, meditating, working out, like all of that stuff is how you thrive to me, And I mean, it's easier said than done every day. Again, like I said, you still have those moments where you fight for your life. You're like, they're taking me under. But how do you, I wake up every morning like, okay, how am I going to make this day a little bit better?
Yes.
And a lot of that starts with, okay, I'm going to start by being kind to myself. And I'm going to start by sharing love, when people ask me, like, what's your mantra? My mantra is everything is love.
Yes.
So when I'm being my best self, every action I take, everything I do is coming from a place of love. And that's not easy. It's really easy.
I like
but
that.
if I can remind myself of that, then that's when I feel like I'm thriving.
I love that. And then you said, oh, this is the one thing that I did take away from this too. Surviving is having limited set of tools to get by. Thriving is constantly adding to your toolbox so you can excel. Yo, like, and that's something that you wrote, okay? I can't even put that on my name. That's what you wrote, okay? And man,
I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Listen, yes. And what I want to say is, I really wanted to end the surviving and thriving because that's something that many of us have to do. We're going under the water and we don't have to. Pour into yourself, pour into others, and love. At the end of the day, the only person that you should see competition with is yourself. But within self, give yourself grace, because at the end of the day, you need it for another day to give your best. You know what I'm saying? So with everyone trying to do whatever they're trying to do in this life, whether it's become an actress, or be whatever it is, the most important thing is to be your best self. And that's choosing to what? Thrive and not survive. Come on. So Tiffany, I want to tell you, thank you so much for the opportunity to interview such a beautiful soul. You spoke so much volume and great things. And I can't wait to see what else is in future for you for 2022.
22, right? Add that to in there. And thank you so much. I'm so glad that our paths crossed. So it was so serendipitous, and I'm praying for a beautiful 2022 for you. Seeing you everywhere, you thriving, and I feel like you're so connected to your purpose. So I know amazing things are ahead of you, and they already are here.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Seriously, I take that in and I receive it. And girl, we gonna take over this 2022, okay?
Let's do it.
Now, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Tiffany, we'll see you soon. Now, is there anything that you want to let the people know before you go?
Have a good Friday, guys. Do something fun. I don't have nothing to plug, so.
Okay. And then also let you know, check out season 1 of Hunters, because season 2 is the renewal. And everything that you haven't seen Tiffany on the screen on, make sure you check in, because my girl does this, okay? Thank you so much, Tiffany. It's an honor to interview such a queen.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Zetta. Thanks for checking out our Media Conversation series episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And watch the rest of our Media Conversation videos only on Black Girls in Media.